As good as you, I would not be me, and that is all I can be. One cannot continue to trim a weed that will not stop growing and spreading its seeds. One must rip it out by the roots. He will start wars among us, or between us. He cannot live another breath.
Glad we taught that prick asshole Kane a little lesson. Scum's a good guy, though even if his name sucks. It's gonna be hard to become chief with a name like that, even though he'd make a good one. Why aren't you running, Phobos?
I have no interest. Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Zachariah, you are living proof that our people can live in harmony. You have helped us enormously, but now I believe it is time to make a decision.
We must present a chief to the Assembly.
The time for speaking, I am afraid, is dwindling. If our internal quarrels give rise to conflict within our own, we need someone to unite us. We must walk as one race, place differences aside.
Then it should be you. There is no mutant who lacks respect for you. And unlike Kane, your leadership will not spill blood.
As a strategist, though, you are greatly respected as well. Perhaps it is you who should run.
I know it may not be my place to give an opinion, but I think that it makes sense for you to be chief, Scum. You inspire them, and that's what they need.
Perhaps you are correct, Zachariah. Though the fear of needing to be not just a chief, but a strategist that must lead a charge to free our brothers, I do not know. But we shall see what my people have to say.
My love and support are yours, Scum. I will continue on with Zachariah until he finds peace, but I will come back to help you once it is done.
Humbly he stands before you. Once we spoke like this, remember? When we were bound in our chains. But that's behind us. And today, myself, Scum, in this valley that is ours, can finally say, I! And such freedom was bought with blood of our fallen brothers. Hear me when I speak these words. I also have the belief that our found freedom must be shared. And for that reason, let us rise, but with no violence, without freedom taken by crushing down those who, too, were once our brothers. So might we all be brothers someday, even those who once bathed in our humiliation. In my dreams, I see a planet where mutants and men live together, break bread together, bear witness as their kin play together. Let us not create adversaries with wrath, or become the cruelty once shown to us. Instead, let us show mercy, and in that mercy, let there lie our road to peace. And with the Shadow's mercy, may this dream of freedom and equality spread across the surface of our planet.
Zachariah, we must talk.
About what?
This is your safe house. The ASC cannot reach you here, correct?
That's the hope.
But consider this. Even if Victor cannot reach you here, how many times has he tried to impede you, to track you? You've already had to escape from his grasp twice. Perhaps the time has come to be less passive, to gather your allies and take the offensive for once. Word of the power he accumulates in the People's Assembly of Abundance is terrifying. I speak not of violence, but Perhaps there's some other way to bring him down. With all that you have done for so many, I am certain many would be more than willing to come to your aid, and even more invigorated when that aid will bring such a tyrant to his knees. You have our support, the Technomancers, and any others you can gather. And from the great heights to which he has climbed, the fall will be tremendous. He will not recover.
Maybe you're right. Maybe it is time to take the offensive.
He's got a point, you know? Maybe you should talk to your captain. I mean, how long's the ASC been fucking over the army? They gotta be fed up with them by now, no? I mean, the fucking army'd be a great damn ally in Ophir. Not that there aren't others in Ophir who'd be happy to give us their support, but... not really the kind of pricks I want to get in bed with, you know?
You talking about Anton and the Vori?
I sure as hell wasn't talking about my grandma.
Hi.
Zachariah, to what do I owe this privilege?
I'm looking for work. You need help with anything?
Our nation is just beginning. There is enough work for 1 billion men. For example, an old, worn-down pump at one of our artesian wells has stopped working. And where it is, a creature lurks, terrifying our workers, keeping them from the repairs. If you could, get rid of the creature and make the repairs. You may need a good mechanic, unless you're able to repair it on your own.
Let me see what I can do.
Greetings, Zachariah.
I think it's time I answered Victor's constant attacks. I'm gonna need help, though.
That's what family is for, Zachariah. We are family, united by the mutual suffering inflicted by Victor. His time to pay for all he's done has come. We are united in that.
We're lucky that Scum and Phobos managed to stop Cain. That crazy slut would have led us to the grave.
I only wish the Phobos had sought the help of humans. Mutant problems should end with mutant solutions.
Hey,
Hello. How are you?
someone told me about you, so I wanted to come say thanks. Your instructions helped me save my friend.
I'm just happy you got there in time. We would have helped ourselves, but if you're letting humans know free mutants roam around...
Don't blame you. You see what led to all of that? By the time I got there, they tortured my friend, and the Technomancer in charge was leaving.
Found himself surrounded by the Technomancer and his soldiers, who wanted to know where they could find a man named Zachariah. You, I suppose.
What did he tell him?
Not the answer you are scared he gave. He said nothing of your location. Instead, he told this other Technomancer that he knew who he was, but it did not seem to matter. The question was asked again. This time your friend screamed back that he knew who he was, and that they must listen to him. That is when they began to beat him, and he began to scream for mercy. Mercy that would not come, even as he screamed that he could do something for them. The violence only grew. That is when we ran to warn Dandolo. What he was offering to do for them, I do not know. He never said. But it did not matter anyway. All they wanted to know was where you were. Nothing else to them mattered. The torture lasted for hours. Your friend may be not all there, but his loyalty cannot be doubted.
Thanks. And thank you for going to Dandolo.
Of course.
Scott, thanks for coming. Please have a seat. I'm just trying to understand something.
Ah, a scientific query. Let us engage.
No, not quite. I just wanted to understand what you were doing with Alan under that shadow path. A couple mutants saw you and said you told Alan that you knew what he was, and that you could do... Of course, the jackass didn't give a damn. All he wanted to know was where we were. But what the hell were you trying to do, Scott?
Do? I wasn't doing. I was doing something, but not what... There are opportunities in life. He might have become an ally, a great Technomancer. Even if you're not friends, he could... I was... a mistake.
Scott, Amelia and I have done our own investigation, and we learned things. Like the fact that you became obsessed with research on genetic mutation because your son suffered from it. And I have a feeling it has something to do with your escape. I think you should start talking.
The past, it should stay in... unless they are relics or so much hurt and tears and... But if you already know about my son, what use is there in hiding anything else? It is a rather laborious story, some of which you know, some of which it was 17 years ago, with our corporation's unparalleled obsession with the perfect man. I found myself ensconced in gene research. My son, my flesh and blood son. I loved that child, cherished him like nothing else, but my work stole time from him, more and more, and when he was diagnosed with symptoms of the mutation, I disintegrated. As the best geneticist in abundance, I ensconced myself in research of its genome, discovering its mutation, and I heard whispers of tests the settlers had made, because they, too, had been coping with the chaotic mutative effects of the radiation. So, my friend, Mark, delivered me to a distant city, remote, nearly unlivable. I stayed there, poring through their documents until one day, I uncovered their work on a therapy which had only a singular side effect.
It modified the human body's electrical production.
Precisely. Technomancers are the result of a controlled genetic manipulation, mutations instigated to protect us from more erratic mutations created by the radiation, a discovery I found myself racing to try out on my son. But first, I needed test subjects. So I volunteered to heal children in the slums. Found 2 young boys there to test its efficacy. And lo and behold, it worked.
Andrew and me.
Yes. Your abilities were gained thanks to my experiments, but that was not all that was gained. I had proof that I could replicate the therapy, and that, you know, now, could resist other forms of mutations. From there, well, I secured a research budget from the military, who in turn assured me they would return my son. But for him, it was too late. The experiment failed to help him, and I found myself with little choice but to end his suffering, rather than see him in a life of slavery, the life of a monster. And to the military, because I could not yet reveal what I knew, as I knew not yet what you were to become. Saw only my failure. I lost everything, found myself socially exiled. And when Andrew's death came, you, Zachariah, became my only chance for success, my only chance to regain my past glory. So